Welcome to another opening lesson, and today I want to analyze some of the chess traps in the Italian game with both white and black. So if you don't play, let's say, Italian with white but you play e5 with black, so it might be helpful, and if opposite you play Italian with white but don't play basically the opposite, it will both benefit you in a way. So let's first look at the game by looking at the black side. Bishop c4, bishop c5. Again, my move is bishop c3, knight f6, d4 takes, e5, d5, and now black can play white just played e takes f6. Here black can respond by playing d takes c4, and after queen e2, which is not the main line according to computer main line, as f takes g7, rook g8, and this position is kind of complicated, but black have some advantage, but you still gotta know some theory. But here white played queen e2, bishop e6, takes, rook g8, c takes d4, and probably the final mistake of this game, knight d4, bishop d4. So now black will take pawn on g7. They have all their pieces developed, and I got an extra pawn as well. As soon as they take on g7, the game is almost over. Queen h5, queen f6, castle, rook g7, queen b5, c6, and now after queen b7, white decided to take the pawn, not to suffer without any material. But here, unfortunately for them, there is beautiful skittish, and game over in couple of moves. Queen g6, king h1, bishop d5. Only move is to play f3, and of course beautiful finish, bishop f3, another brilliant move, and after rook f3, queen g1 is a checkmate. In the next game, in this beautiful 15 moves miniature, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, c3. Again, guys, I showed you Deutsch Gambit that you could castle, knight f6, you can play d4, but this is one of the other options, and sometimes you will win a lot of games. E takes d4, castle, knight e4, sacrificing a couple of pawns, c takes d4, bishop e7, d5. So now knight has to go somewhere, rook e1, trying not to exploit the weakness and the pin on e file, knight e6, bishop d3, now castle, knight c3, knight e8, and now beautiful d6, letting this d5 square free, and knight is ready to jump to d5. And after c takes, d6, bishop h7, sacrificing the piece, king h7, and bam. And the idea is that after queen e7, knight e5, black have nothing to do but resign, because basically queen can go anywhere, knight g5, queen e4, knight g5, and if all squares are taken, queen d8 is the only move, knight g5, king g8, queen h5, and checkmate on next move. So they will of course have to sacrifice, and here there is again beautiful checkmate with knight e7, nothing to do, black resigned. Let's get to the next game, again from white side, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, c3, knight f6, and again d4 takes. And this is actually the main line, and here white play very tricky king f1 move, not the main move, but still deserves some attention. d5, knight e7, queen d4, threatening this knight, threatening g7 pawn, knight goes back to f6, bishop g5, once again pressing this knight on f6, knight g6, knight d2, h6, rook e1, king f8, and here white played bishop d3. The idea of bishop d3 is basically now we're attacking this bishop, and if bishop d2, of course bishop d2 will be played, and white have, just better piece coordination, considering the queen is in the center, some beans all over the place. And according to computers, the best move to play is a5, but that's actually, I think, is impossible move to find unless you're a top grandmaster. But here black played bishop e7, which is a blunder, and after takes, there is beautiful knight e5. And the idea is that after f takes g6, knight g6, king f7, rook e7, king g6, queen d3, king h6, and beautiful another brilliant h4. And here black played g4, but let's say they take the rook on e7, takes, king g5, knight f3, king f4, g3, king g4, queen g6, thus queen f5, checkmate. They play g4 instead, h5, threatening to play queen g6 checkmate, knight h5, queen f5, threatening queen h5 checkmate, g6, queen f4, g5, queen f6 is checkmate. The following position will be analyzed for black sides: e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5. If you've got any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. c3, knight f6, d4, takes, bishop b4, bishop d2, main line. Black play d5. I would suggest you to basically look at this game. Great example: castle, rook e1, knight f4, queen c2, queen f6, threatening d4, and now white play knight f1. Kind of passive and defensive moves, because here actually black can exploit this mistake in a very beautiful manner. Knight g2, king g2, and queen f3 check. Basically setting up a little fork, because after king f3, knight d4, knight c2, we will fork rook and win an exchange. That didn't happen. After king f3, white played king g1, knight d4, queen e4, b5. Computer thinks it's a mistake, but I won't say so sure, because basically again can't take, because knight f3, knight d1, and then this bishop is under attack. They played bishop d3, and after f5, again queen f3, knight d1 wins an exchange, queen d4, and after bishop b7 turns out no way to protect from queen g2 or queen f1 checkmate, and white resigned. The next game, and the Italian game, nothing new, bishop c4, and we're going for main line again, and now we're gonna look at knight c3. Look, we analyzed king f1 game, and now knight c3. Knight e4, queen b3, not the main line again, castle, knight a5, bishop f7, and here queen d5, attacking knight on a5 and on e4. And again, very tricky line. Black played knight c3, queen a5, knight e2, king h1, and here they made a mistake by playing knight c1. Because here, instead of first taking on c1 with either this or this rook, white played knight g5, threatening this rook on f7, and after rook f8, this king h8, knight f7, black sacrificed a rook for two pieces basically, right? But unfortunately for them, they have huge problem in development, and after knight e3, it looks like we're not letting this rook go to e1 and e8, but it's wrong, because after rook e1, it turns out there is no way to protect the last strand, because basically knight e1, right? And it's lost, rook e8, and here black resigned. And the final game I'm gonna look at, another beautiful and insane chess game: knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, c3, knight f6, again main line. Here again this bishop c3, and now going for this d5 line. We're not going for this queen b3 useless stuff, we're going for d5. Knight e5 takes, knight c4, queen d4, and here the main move according to the computer is f5, but here black played knight cd6, protecting this knight, queen g7, threatening the rook on h8, queen f6. It looks like, alright, black protected everything, the rapid piece, but unfortunately for them, queen f6, knight f6, rook e1, king f8, bishop h6, king g8, and after rook e5, white threatening, like, beautiful checkmate. So, and one of the game actually ended like this: black played knight d6, knight d4, knight d2, and here basically threatening if this rook g5 checkmate, knight d4 is played just to protect from rook g5, and here after d6, knight d4 takes, knight f6, typical checkmate pattern. But in the game what happened was knight f e4, basically you're still blocking this in this squares, rook e1 now threatening this on rook e8, f5, and the game ended pretty soon, cause basically white took all material and ended up with the checkmate. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you like the games. In the next episode next week, I'm gonna be looking at Evans Gambit, another very attacking and interesting opening. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.